problems.
Of children to step. What would it be like to have a group of children grow up in this world, totally being trained to be in the present moment, not to go through past life hang-ups. You know, it's like whatever happened in the past happened in the past.
Why are you afraid of the past? Why are you afraid of the past? Why are you afraid of the past?
Wake up and
maybe no. Listen, examine your own past. Go back a few years.
Hey, earlier you said the past does not.
I'll go back 10 minutes ago. What was I doing 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, that's the title.
Did you say that?
That's
the past does not exist.
Yes, I did say that.
And I said the past did exist. Because you're right, the past does not exist now. But it did exist.
I didn't even get all my thought out.
Now I'm talking about
the past is you moving the camera way too quickly, and you're not letting people speak slowly and concisely. Debates with you are like so terrible because it's like.
Well, I think we could talk fast.
What I was going to say, when I was this age, and when I was this age, and when I was this age, and this age, and when I was this age, I wasn't this age, but I'm about this age. But when I was all those ages, my parents and nobody in any, figure of a teacher or authority ever told me who I was in the past life. Nobody told me. Nobody even gave me the guess or even the possibility that could exist.
And someone has. So you want to provide
No. I don't wish for any. I don't regret anything. I just say that's how it was for me as a child.
Right.
Okay? And if they have that when they're a child, actually, it starts a process going on, and it's not necessarily going to be negative for them. How can you block that from them? My parents also blocked a lot of progressive and new theories or new ideas from me. My parents were very conservative.
Possibilities.
My parents were very closed-minded. I had to get into it on my own. Don't you want kids that are immersed in new theories and new thinking?
Sure, you could tell children, hey, you started wars and you died of a drug overdose, and guess what? I guarantee you maybe they won't repeat it in this lifetime. Sure, you could tell them that, but it's like, really, why not just be in the moment, teaching children awareness of sustaining themselves and being as in their bodies as possible, and going from there, and why do we even need to look back? If we can create a race that's happy and sustaining themselves in
I see the wheels turning, and you're trying to find. That's good. Keep on with that. But I already have the answer. If you want to get it, and then it'll save you a whole lot of time.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Do you feel like by knowing where we were before, that we can harness those gifts or aspects where we were strong in past lives?
Mm-hmm. Because
add
a lot
more
of
to the character in
because
this life?
a lot of even ancient, it's not totally new, but ancient spiritual practice, which obviously is very much in Buddhism. You can read it in the Christian Bible, which comes from the Jewish, which is older even, and Vedic literature is full of it, full of these references to the progression from one life to the next. We do want these abilities, and in order to awaken them, we need to know more clearly what it was.
Do not touch, please.
Because if everything is buried and everything is ignored, and you think that everything comes from just now, starting from when you were physically born now, you don't have a connection to where did that come from. Why do children grow up and they have abilities already? Why do some babies why are some babies born and they're speaking another language already?
Do you have great-great-great-grandparents? Do you have great-great-great-great-great-grandparents? Well, that's who you came from.
Don't pull on it.
It can't be fully explained by genetical family background.
Because
families are interchangeable, and Jesus said that. Jesus said that. That we're all in one big family, and biological is not so important as some people make it.
We're going to say it slowly.
It's something.
So the issue here is not whether reincarnation is true or not. It's that...
What makes it... what's the criteria we're looking for then?
What gives another being the power to
qualified
say,
enough.
qualified to say this person, it was this in this life.
What is the qualifications to be a predictor or a revealer of past life?
Well,
What
we
are
all
the
kind of grew up in
qualifications?
the American system of thinking, and it's always forward-looking. It's always forget your past, forget the country you came from, and go into the melting pot of America. That's really where a lot of this is coming from. I'm not saying personally everybody here is so patriotic that they follow everything that's in the American tradition. But, in America, who do we have that is demonstrating that criteria? Who do we have representing this person that we're talking about? The answer is we don't have anybody.
Obama was Pharaoh.
We have nobody. We have nobody.
Obama was Pharaoh.
They say Oprah was also, but I don't believe that. Oprah was something, but we don't have anything. So we're kind of lost, and if we establish it now, and it's just a spiritual ability, like psychic or whatever else you want to call it, but it boils down to a science, and this is the same thing about telepathy, this is the same thing about astrology, this is the same thing about auras, this is the same thing about feeling a person's energy for healing, energy healing. These are the same things that America and a lot of other places in this modern world we don't know about. And nobody can do it. You just played a tape about shamanism.
Yeah.
We look at Buddhism here. The whole basis of Buddhism, when they're raised with Buddhism, especially not in America, they know about all these things. We would have a totally different debate with me and the Buddhists.
Because Americans have a total sense of loss. America is lost, in fact.
Well, America only exists now.
I don't know one American that
Ron
really
Goss
gives a
says,
shit
"Be here
about
now."
their past or their grandparents' legacy or their great-grandparents. Like,
It's
most of
very-
them do not even know who their
that's like-
great-great-grandparents are.
That's the most
I don't.
prevailing force in America.
How come we don't know about
We're
all
all
our
the
minutes?
victim. I say we're all the victim of this. That's why you guys are kind of...
I don't.
You guys are kind of anxious, or not anxious, but you're apprehensive about reincarnation.
And America,
I'm not apprehensive about
America,
reincarnation.
what
I
would
just
you
don't know
do?
where I've been, and I don't know why that information hasn't been shared with me.
She's worried
What
about
would you
how
do?
it would limit or
What would you do
stamp this on her
if
children.
you knew, like, all of a sudden, oh, this person was Marilyn Monroe, or this person was this or that? You know what you'd want to do? The whole world. They'd want to touch it. They'd want to fuck it. They'd want to sell it. They'd want to make money.
Did they want to do that with Marilyn Monroe when she was alive?
Of course.
Who cares? Make money on it. Develop it.
But if
Who cares?
if Marilyn Monroe out there
Yeah,
is
but
smart,
listen, but listen,
she'll
but
keep
listen,
herself
but
quiet,
listen.
so they
Here's
won't do
here's
that
where
to
your
her.
ignorance needs to be
She'll
enlightened.
rise above
Here's
that
where-
in this lifetime.
Anyway.
No, that's
Marilyn
not
Monroe
possible.
lived in
No,
a
I mean,
dark,
you can
dark
say that, but
world.
you can't
Women-
switch.
She had
you
to
can't
deal.
switch genders
She had
that
to deal
easily.
with
It's not-
womanizing,
I
womanizing
was
agents, and
World War II
you know, she
fighter
had to
pilot,
deal with a
and
lot
I
of
went down
crap
by
to
a
get
plane,
to
but I
that
was a man.
spot, and I don't even think
Not
she
feel
really
that
wanted to be there.
I don't know. I feel like I could have been I think maybe I was a young Native American girl and I died young. And then possibly had experiences in the Middle East, but there's no way I don't know. I haven't accessed that type. I guess would that be a form of
Since I see all people in a
of
godly
shamanism?
form, I'd see
know
her as a
Some of it could be
corn
reliable,
goddess. She
and
is a
some of
corn
it may
goddess.
just-
poor thing.
some people would say, how come it's not just seen as imagination? Maybe you watched a TV show when you were young, and maybe you're relating to it in your psyche or your subconscious. But then again, if you say it's limited to be interpreted like that, why not just say, you watched the TV show, and the reason why it stuck with you is because it was your past life.
Exactly.
Why, when you see something that's
I was probably a
current
healer
or
in
in the
my past
media
life.
or in the arts, it may just jog something in your mind and really stick there. And it's just like
So that's up to the individual
helps
to figure
remind
out.
you.
Not necessarily for someone else to point out, because an individual is going to know where they came from if they're aware of things going on.
If they're allowed to, if
But-
they want to.
But
if
for
they
me
can, if they have
specifically, I
guidance
wish that
or
that was
openness.
something I was aware of earlier in my life. So I probably would have been thankful how
I'm
my
going to
dad
tell
said,
you who you were.
Angela, I think that, you were this, or this in a past life. And I was like, oh, wow, okay.
I was
That
your
would've
father in a past life, and I was your father right now. No, I was your father in a past life, and I was your father in a past life, and I'm their father right now. I'm going to tell you all that in years and all that
Thank
stuff.
you.
But
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
understand. I was your father before you ever was
Oh,
my
I see
father.
what he always does. He just thinks he's God.
No,
Why don't
that's
you
a
just say
fact.
you're God?
That's a fact. That's a
He
fact.
already said he was God.
You
so.
just said you're my father. Well, I'm saying that I was your father before
I
you
am
were
your
my
father, Luke Skywalker.
You don't understand the
so
truth here.
this
The
is a
debate's
perfect
over.
example.
I win.
What if I
win.
told you in a past life I was your grandmother? You would never look at me the same again, right?
No, I would just look at you like how you are now, and I would realize that in
Oh
other
no,
lifetimes...
you would always see grandma
no.
a little bit. What if it
What
wasn't
are you
even
worried
right?
about? What are you worried
It's
about?
just-
Why are you so
My brother has
desperately
a beautiful
trying to
picture
cling
of my
to what you
grandmother
are
in
now?
retirement. She was a dancer. She's
And
wearing
for
a
your
beautiful
kids,
costume,
what you're
and she's
doing,
dancing
you're
Because
like
I
a
came into
bird.
this lifetime to
It's
strip
fear.
That's how I
myself of the
remember my
ego.
grandma.
So if I need
dancer,
attachment
Ego.
I don't remember his
Do
little
you know how
wrinkled
ego
No.
takes over?
I
Ego
don't
doesn't
remember
take
it.
over
She's
because
not.
you're examining
I
past
know her
life.
in the
Ego
the
doesn't take
ego
over because of that.
clings to.
Okay, that's a whole other video. Here we go. We're going to have to stop and start this again. That was my thing
I
about
am the ego
reincarnation.
slayer, by the
I
way. I
think that we're going to come back to this reincarnation
I'm
debate.
going to slay your ego.
Quite a bit more.
For sure.
Quite a bit. But the most important thing, and this is what I didn't say during the group discussion that you're about to watch, my most significant reason, and it's a logical, rational approach to this, the reason to explore this and to make sure that I get some kind of a grasp on it, even if it is just theoretical and unprovable. But I would like to get some kind of a coherent, logical theory developed, however many years it takes. And the reason being, because it's the same as that old axiom. If we do not understand history, we are doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. This is why people who are influencing the movement of societies, the progress of nations, this is why those people who are policymakers, politicians, thinkers, powerful minds, powerful people, this is why they should have a very firm understanding and grasp of history. And by doing so, they know the problems that we've had. Humanity has had ongoing problems because we go from generation to generation to generation not knowing what the heck the problem was. If our grandfather and our grandfather's grandfather had problems in their time and we didn't understand it, we didn't reflect on it, we didn't even know about that history, then we are doomed to go through it again and again and again. When will the wars end? When will the suffering end? When will the starvation, dissatisfaction, disobedience, rebellion, chaos, nonsense, corruption, unfairness, injustice, crime, when will all of this end? We just perpetually keep repeating it. We're in cycles. And if you study history carefully from generation to generation, nation to nation, historical period to historical period, you will see the pattern. And it only is that way because we do not understand or know the history. Now, if you could realize that you were there, you were that generation, and the generation before it, and so on and so forth, going all the way back, that was your life. You have it somewhere in yourself to know. You just need to uncover it and see the pattern that you're a part of. That is my point for exploring reincarnation. So now we're going to talk about something else.